cerebral tackle, I'm a fishing nerd. Casting lines, catching dreams, that's my word. With a rod in my hand, I'm always on the prowl. Wailing in the big ones, hear me hollering loud. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, join the crew. Witness epic battles and angles, point of view. Casting lines, hooking bass is what I do. Cerebral tackles in the house, fishing for you.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the technical difficulties here. Please do me a favor if you don't mind. Give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me okay. It's my first time experimenting with this new microphone. Again, I know I committed a faux pas. I'm late for my own freaking live stream. You'll learn I'm not exactly the most punctual person on the face of the earth. And as far as this lighting, my face looks red. Don't know why the hell that is. It never has before. So, yeah, it's kind of giving me the whole screw me today. Well, you know what? Screw it. Okay, folks, let me do a little stuff here. Let me pull up the chat if I can. There we go. Hello, folks. Cajun Rob Eats Squawk, Fishing After Dark. Cajun Rob, thank you so much. Oleg, yo. You'll be back in a bit. Very good. Oh, doctor. Sorry, I did snag that first, didn't I? I apologize. You're always from the future. I should have known. I should have had that reserved just for you. All right, guys. Well, my football team lost today, so it's kind of taking a bit of the piss out of me, but we're going to try this anyway. Let me pull up some of my notes here. See, I've got a bit of a problem with college fishing as it stands now. You know, back when I was in high school, we prayed for fishing to be a sanctioned sport, a UIL sport. It would have been wonderful. It wasn't. We also prayed for it to be installed in the Olympics. And there was a couple of times, there was a couple of test runs. They never put it in the Olympics. They say now there's another possibility of it getting there too, but no, I don't think it's going to happen. So, why do I have a problem with it? Well, it screws a little guy. Let me tell you what I mean. All these scholarships these schools are offering, the poor kids, the kids that actually have to get out there and bust their butts on the water in order to try to actually find fish. And if you hear that, that's the wife cracking the drink open. You know, anyway. So it's a situation where the poor kids are getting left out. The kids that actually are out there busting their butts, trying to learn the sport of fishing the way you and I did, trial and error. Getting out there, trying to find patterns after fronts, right? Trying to find which brush piles are productive at what times of year. Now, these kids have more help than is legal, literally. Now, I've known a lot of boat captains at the high school level. I'll just say a lot of these times, these kids get a lot more help than they should have, even when it's against the rules. Now, don't get me wrong. Does not apply to everybody. I've known some boat captains that go out of their way to make sure the kids are playing by the rules. I've also known some that haven't. Now, listen, I'm all for youth. And see, here's the problem. Don't mistake me. I'm all for youth learning the sport, getting involved in the sport, and becoming pros. Absolutely fine with that. I don't like the fraud in it. I don't like the crap, okay? What I don't like is these kids getting coddled isn't even the right word, but getting breaks that every other angler would not break. Because, oh, he's a kid, he's fine. Let's let him slide with this fish. Let's let him weigh this fish he shouldn't. Oh, I didn't see him out in the lake in the off limits period. No. I mean, that was just his truck hanging out at the ramp. You know, they give them passes that no other anglers on any level would get. Then these kids, usually coming from money, already have their boats, not the kid trying to break into the college scene. that has to fish from fishing barges or a friend's pontoon now and then, or from the bank, that really knows his craft, knows how to pattern fish, probably knows how to skip and pitch better than them. No, not that at all. That kid doesn't get the break. It's the kids with the monies. It's the kid with that already has the boat, already has the forward facing, already has the live scan, all this, the down, the 360. Okay. That's what hurts us. There are a ton of kids not getting these same freaking opportunities because the money pushes its way in. Now, case in point, Abu Garcia, Bassmaster, freaking college fishing combine. If you haven't heard of this, they're modeling it after the football combine. But in this case, they take the 100 of the first kids to sign up, is my understanding. Caveat there, little asterisk. First 100 to sign up. Now, here's what's happening with this. These first 100 kids that sign up are going to be the kids that have the money, right? Because it's $600 that covers their admittance into the combine and some meals and a couple nights stay. Okay. Doesn't cover the travel. The poor kids in high school that have talent that want to go, they're still going to be mowing lawns and working their part-time job to try to get that $600, let alone their travel by the time the other 100 have already signed up, already got their rental car taken care of, already got their plane tickets. Really? So we see who has admittance. We see who has priority to this collegiate bass combine. The rich kids. How about everybody else? Because I guarantee you, half those rich kids, they don't know how to pattern. They haven't learned by the way of hard knocks like you and I. Come on, guys. I mean, granted, I'm old as hell, but I grew up in the color selector and flasher era. And as you and I know, a lot of things have come a long way since then. Now these kids are giving it all on a silver platter. They're helped to find fish, sometimes help catch them. The 100 that have the fastest money get to go to this combine. Now, this combine, you know what they do? Instead of jumping up and hitting the little flag to see your vertical height, your vertical leap, and all that crap, and timing your 40, they maneuver a boat through a little obstacle course, pitch and flip the targets. Now, granted, those are talents that are needed, right? Those are talents that these college recruiters will look at. Casting accuracy, casting distance, all that good stuff. That's all well and good. Do you need to know how to maneuver the front of a boat? Yeah. Do you need to know how to pitch, flip, skip, have a good arm on you? Yeah, it's obvious. But that stuff can be taught. That's what college is for. These scholarships that they're handing out to the rich kids, scholarships that could really help the underprivileged kids that are really thirsty for it. The kids, if they had enough time to sign up for the combine and had that opportunity, would make it because they're that thirsty. Because let me tell you, I grew up having to fish from the bank. I grew up fishing from a crappie barge. And you know what makes you thirsty? Wondering what is around the lake. Now, granted, as the years went on, I got to fish my home lake, and I know every square inch of that son of a gun now. It took a long time. But guess what? Fishing from the bank, fishing from a barge, made me a much better angler. When I finally made it to the tournament level, I took off. I moneyed, took second place in my 4th tournament ever. Fresh green from a barge. Why? Because all I had to fish was that barge. I could tell you every single limb and every single spot where the bass transitioned along the walkway from summer to winter. I mean, there were fish I knew by name that I would go out there, drop a jig on their head, set the hook. Oh, there's Susie again. Release her back. Why? Because when that's all you have, you make the best out of it and you learn all that you can. So that when you're released into the wild blue yonder of tournament angling, you're thirsty and you want it and you want to learn how to do it right. These kids, take for instance what happened to that one college. I'm not going to mention a lot of names. You guys can find it. Y'all, Moniel, y'all will know what I'm talking about. I think they actually won the national championship. They had a team, right? Two of their top anglers pull up on a spot, or one of their top anglers pulls up on a spot, starts fishing it. Another boat, another competitor comes in the general area. He starts getting cut figure eights around his boat by some guy who's claiming he's a different person using somebody else's name, screaming, cussing at the kids to move them off. Whole sitting, whole sitting at the college level. Now, did it get that kid DQ'd from that day's tournament there? Yeah, it did. He didn't report it. He's like, well, I wasn't sure what to do. I was tried not to curse there. Let's do it this way. Female dog, please. He knew what was going on. He knew this other boater was getting his butt chewed by a guy that he roomed with at the lake. Hole sitting at the collegiate level gets you a little DQ. I'm sorry. If I was Bass, lack of integrity like that, his butt would not have been allowed to fish a national championship. I'd have stomped him like a bug. But see, that's the entitled attitude this youth is growing up with. And things like the Bassmaster Collegiate Combine is only feeding it. I watched a video on it. They're a little promotional video. Well done video. Beautiful video, by the way. But you know what it reminded me of? Well, off of marketing. They show the kids wandering into the grand hall, picking up their little gift bags, which, hey, everybody likes swag. I used to do it during my days of the Bass Federation Nation Championship, so I dig me some swag. I'm down with that. They walk in, they get their swag. Yeah. I get it. It's good to push youth towards the sport. That's fine. But whenever they start making this look like fluff and marketing and nothing more, I mean, obstacle course, come on. Can the kids pattern? Now, after the first day of being here with the little competition and whatnot of the combine, there are ones that are selected by all of these recruiters to come back for a second look on day two. I guess it's going to be a kind of an interview process. Well, I'm freaking dandy. Okay. Where are the kids that really deserve it? How many kids are at home on their couch, sacking groceries, cleaning floors? That should have been there. To me, that's not a scholarship. To me, that's a college coupon for rich kids. How do we fix it? I don't know. All I know is there's all this talk about forward-facing sonar and how it's bad and how it's going to ruin the sport. And people that think that way, they've never used front-facing sonar. The wonderful, great Money Bass, the dude who gifted me this microphone right here that I'm using tonight for the first time. Thank you, Money Bass. You're a bad, bad man. Money Bass did an on-the-water challenge with part of his crew where they did not use front-facing sonar. You know what? They did better. They had better time management on the water. Because it's like fishing for a bedfish. If you can see that fish, you're convinced with your skill set, you're going to be able to get him to bite. So you're going to sit there and you're going to hound the piss out of him, pitching and flipping to him or throwing and letting that bait suspend over that brush pile when you can see him on front facing. And you're going to be tempted to sit there and compete against that fish for a longer period of time. You're not going to get him. So you burn time at that hole. You go to your next hole. Fresh set of fish. You're watching them on front-facing sonar. You do the same thing. Front-facing sonar is not killing the sport. It's the way we're letting these youth pretty much buy their way into the tour. Okay? Seth Fighter talked about it over on Jack Wagon's channel here a while back. He essentially said that, hey, the kids can buy their way in because now you have to do all 9 of the opens as opposed to 3. So folks with regular paying jobs, they can't make all 9. Otherwise, you can sit there, target the opens, and win one and cash your ticket. That's how it should be. You really want to get grassroots, but don't claim your grassroots and blow smoke up my butt. And you're letting all the rich kids give them a coupon to get right on in and progress right on up to the Elite Series. Let's face it, the Bassmaster Elite Series isn't even what the Bassmaster Elite Series was. When that MLF split happened and all those guys decided they wanted to take their ball and go elsewhere to play, it was left with a handful of big names and a bunch of guys named George. That's what it is. When you had all of your D and E group members of BASS move up to the A and B, who's everybody else? Like literally, who? Now it's going to be a bunch of rich kids. They're going to be invading it. You ready? So I'm all about teaching. I'm all about the youth. Okay. I love it. I love teaching. The main reason I started this channel was because I'm in bad health and I want to pass along the knowledge I got from 18 years of professional fishing on to other people at all levels. Maybe some stuff for some advanced anglers or stuff that they don't know exists yet, right? Or to brush up on skills. All the new anglers, all kinds of folks. I've got crappie stuff on here. I've got trout stuff on here. Why? I love the sport of fishing. And I don't want the sport of fishing to get watered down by a bunch of youth with a checkbook. That's going to happen. Now, folks at home, are they going to recognize it? No. Why? There's still going to be a winner, still going to be a loser. There's still going to be that cut on day 3. Or what are they actually patterning fish? Is it, oh, that tournament was a tough tournament? No, maybe everybody sucked. Anyway, I think that there's a place for high school and collegiate fishing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to come off as a hater. What I don't want to do is just be used as a big marketing ploy. See, back in the day, when I first started with bass, they had youth events, casting for kids. This is before high school fishing, where we'd have contests at different big tournaments where kids would come up and pitch and flip the targets and they would get prizes. Nothing to enter, free. Guess what? There was no minimum money you had to pocket a year either to get in. Things like that. Kids tournaments. We participate in kids tournaments. Yeah, help push the sport. You want to grow the sport. Yes, you want to teach them. You don't want to give them a free ride in to the highest level of professional fishing, being green as a gourd. It's not fair to them in the long run. Think about that. They're going to go out there, they're going to try, and they might get their butt waxed. There's another guy, a guy that's famous for griping and complaining about front-facing sonar. We all know he is. Mister, you're spotlighting the fish. I guess he doesn't understand that light and sound are different things. Anyway, he was sitting there talking about what an advantage front-facing sonar is to the kids. And it's just the kids are going to be learning it. Anybody can learn it. I can learn it. I almost bought a unit and made a portable unit for bank fishing. You can be done off of piers, docks. Yeah, it can be done. I've seen it, seen plenty of them. There's lots of tutorials out there on how to set up an ice chest, know with your mount of your screen, or with your batteries, all that good jazz. There's lots of ways. Like I said, I've seen them in action. At the end of the day, it was way too much money to play around with something I wouldn't get a lot of use out of. I'm old as dirt. And I'm not very technologically sound, as you see by me being late on my live screen, which means I probably got to put $1 in the tip jar to Oleg because, he gets mad at me when I'm live for live streams. And sorry, Oleg, you're right. But in my defense, we also have severe weather, so I'm trying to dodge that crap too. But anyway, getting off track. There's a place for it, but we got to revamp it. What the answer is, I can't tell you. I know from what I saw from that promotional video, if I was a kid competing in it and I saw that promotional video, would I be excited? Yeah. Yeah, I would. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's me getting to be there, right? That's me going through the line, getting my swag, going out there, getting on the boat, navigating the obstacle course, pitching, flipping. Yeah, yeah, that would play to me. That video would play to me if I was one of those kids. Who are they trying to play to, though? I guarantee you, there's a lot of fishermen out there that don't have the $600 for the couple night stay and the 4 meals that they're giving you for the $600 at the combine, let alone the travel expenses from BFE and Timbuktu to get there. And I guarantee you they're just as deserving. So, the questions to the folks at the collegiate combine for professional fishing or for college fishing. I got a question for you. Are you really picking the best anglers? Are you picking the ones that have the money to show up? Just curious. Because I bet you money I could go out and I could find 10 kids from the country that would absolutely spank those you have showing up at that combine. That's going to be unpopular. And I don't want to come off as the a-hole. I probably already have. But I've got a problem with the way it is now. I think Seth Feider had it right. It's a rich kid sport now with daddy's boat. He said that if he had to fish back when he had to compete in all 9 of the opens in order to qualify, he would never have made it. He's probably right. He admitted he made it to the majors a couple of years earlier than he should have. Yeah. Guess what, though? Before that MLF split, I was the guy that was in either group C, D, or E. He's now a big name. Now I give him credit for not jumping ship to MLF. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm going to make a reference you guys are going to murder me for, and don't make fun of me. I'm going to delete this on the replay. I'm going to equate MLF to AEW. I said it. A bunch of friends taking their balls and going somewhere else and creating something else entirely because they don't like the way things are run. That don't work out for them either. And Boyd Duckett, granted, KVD has skins on the wall. Boyd Duckett, independently wealthy, did it because he had the money to do it. They tried to murder Bass. They tried to murder the organization that gave them the start, that put them where they were, that made them household names. That's not loyalty. That's a shank. Why? Because they got a bit pushy about how things were being run. Now both organizations are going to double down on the college thing and just let that invade and water it down even more. Holy hell. Fishing is not what it used to be. I grew up in the days where Hank Parker was on stage after winning his first Grand Slam. Had the freaking phone cord. Yeah, no cell phones, baby. Phone cord draped up on stage so he could call his wife and tell his wife that he had just won live on stage. Do I have old time syndrome? Probably. I think it was better then. I think the kids have a place, but I think they need to learn. I think these colleges need to do better outreach to folks that don't have all the money, that don't have the boats. They need to find a way to get those kids in the mix. It's just me. Anyway, so that's my rant. Now, what I want to do on these new kind of backlash rant casts here is I want to get everything off my chest. Then I want to go through and look at the comment section and pick out some questions. And if y'all have any questions, hit me with them. Oh, there we go. I just got a super chat there from Money Bass. Is that the first super chat there, Mrs. CT? Thank you so much, Money Bass. Let's first question is here. What can the less advantaged anglers do to compete? My gosh, money. You're right. Not a lot for them, right? I mean, in high school, I'm worried that in high school it's going to become a rich kid's game too. Because at the high school level, of course, you have boat captains, which are generally people that volunteer their boats. A lot of the people that are volunteering their boats, their kids are involved. So their team may be their son and their son's best friend, or a kid from down the street, or somebody else he is friends with. It's a cool kids thing at school. So what can the younger kids do to compete? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's something that needs to be looked at, though. I mean, I think they need to try to find a way to. You know what they could do? They could switch it up, right? They could make it where they draw the boaters out of a pool. That there you go. Draw the boaters out of the pool, and draw the teams too. How about that? How about make it open draw? I had to do it. A lot of y'all had to do it at some point, right? Guys, I'm gonna wipe something off my screen. It's there we go. I'm sorry. It was looking like a crack and it was pissing me off staring into it. Um, how about a straight open draw? Free open draw. Draw the boaters, draw both kids in the that are going to be the team in the boat. You know what? Let's see how many of these dads with these boats give a damn about high school fishing then, when they're not guaranteed to take their kid and their kid's best friend out there. Let's do that. They can do is market themselves and also, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you mean as far as the anglers' money, Bass? Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. They got to push themselves. And that is going to take money too, but they got to push themselves. Um, that is crazy. Let me see here. I'm gonna scroll up here, guys, and look at anything else. Uh, do, 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 do. Uh, Eat Squawk says, "What happened to scouts actually showing up at the event the kid was taking part in? Do they do that in fishing? I don't know. I doubt it. They may, as the year gets on, they may, but I doubt it. Let's see here. Greg from Central PA. Hello, hello. Alrighty. I'm scrolling down through. My goodness, I like you, regular guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. You know, it's and money, and Eat Squawk both brought up very good points. You know, it is hard, but I think if they did the random draw, which means you got to change how coaches pick teams too, or pick their anglers. Because let's face it, if kids see that a way to get to college is by doing fishing, you're going to have kids that normally would know nothing about fishing trying to participate in fishing. Now, if they have money, are they still going to get picked even though they were just using a zip code 33 2 weeks earlier? Not if there's anything wrong with zip code 33s, but y'all know what I'm saying. You know, I don't know. It's tough. Yeah, and you're right, Eat Squawk. It is going to be hard when you got parents coaching. You know, there has to be a better way to handle it. I think random draws is a good start. Random draws and inclusivity. And guess what? Here's a trick too. By the way, if you have more anglers in high school than you do boats, who gets picked? How about those that have parents that have the boats? You make it fair. You make it freaking fair. You give everybody a freaking start, right? What you do, you say, listen, anybody that wants to be a boater, sign up. You get your boater pool, you get your kid pool. You draw a random draw for enough kids that you have boats. Fair. You know, are they gonna like it? Can they field what they think is the best team? No. They also can't screw people over too. Anyway, I saw that Blame Eat Squawk for sending me the video on the collegiate combine. I saw it and I just felt my blood boiling. I'm like, I got to talk about this crap. So it pissed me off to no end. I'm absolutely just disenfranchised with the way things are going. You have less and less old timers out there now on the water. They're all getting pushed out by these kids that have the time to fish the 9 opens because they don't have to hold down a job. You know, it's nuts, but it is what it is. And all we can do is voice our opinions and hopefully at some point we can make a change. The money is going to rule. Schools are going to be what they're going to do. Dad's out there taking their kid fishing out there on a high school tournament while the uncle runs figure eights around people or whatever have you, that kind of an example. That's not what happened in the other situation, but you get my drift. Hole sitting for him, other people pre-fishing for him. That's not how you win tournament. That's not how you compete. It's not how you learn. So anyway, there is my rant on high school fishing. Let's see. Yeah, Eat Squawks is shocked. That's how the scholarships are being handed out. Yeah. Okay. Oh yes, yes. Cajun Rob absolutely says high school tourney fields are insane. 300 plus boat fields. Absolutely. And I never got my I had banners disappear, folks. Gotta freaking love it. I had banners disappear. Anyway, I'm still learning this whole thing. I gotta figure out how to get things in here. I'm gonna go ahead and run this one here. There we go. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to figure it out. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it does need to be revamped. We'll figure it out hopefully eventually. I don't want kids getting left out because hey, Oleg, thanks for rejoining us, buddy. Yeah, it's one of those situations where there's a lot of talent getting left on the table, a lot of meat getting left on the bone, as they would say. And it's sad. These kids, I think, have just as much skill, if not a lot more, even than a lot of the kids that are getting to compete. We got to find a way to get them in the mix. Because when I'm out fishing and I run into a kid that I want to teach, it's different than when I've run into one of the high school kids. And boy, Cajun Rob is not kidding. Those 300 boat fields are. I've had to change fishing plans. I want to go to a certain lake and find out high school tournaments there. Damn it. And go source. I've been in tournament organizations that have changed their schedule because a high school tournament was going to be on lake. Gonna get watered down, guys. Bass is killing their own product, and MLF, they're going to do it anyway. A little off-brand story about MLF real quick. Part of the reason they took their ball and went elsewhere was because they had also had a couple of days of tournaments that had been postponed in BASS before the split due to the weather situation. We're professional bass anglers. We should be able to go out in any weather, yada, yada, yada. So the people that be, right, the powers that be, canceled the weather because they didn't want people getting killed. Anglers bitch. So they go start their own organization. They're tired of the rules. What happens? They immediately have to cancel one of the tournaments. Hell, do y'all remember how they were going to have the cup on Lake Palestine, I guess, in Texas? And then Texas had that snowmageddon. They're like, oh, we don't want to put the burden on the community by showing up while they have ice on the ground. We're going to go to another lake. That was after they had already moved it I want to say from Oklahoma. I want to say Lake of the Cherokees or Grand or somewhere. They had moved it from there to Palestine. Palestine had all this ice and snow, just historic levels of ice in Texas, of all places. So, like, no, let's don't go there. Let's pack up and let's go back over to Alabama or wherever the hell they ended up with. So they did the same thing they were bitching at Bass about. And they say they didn't want to put a strain on the local community. You mean the local community that needed those dollars to rebuild? And let me tell you, it was an S show out there. So all that money that you had promised them because they wanted their deposits back, they didn't leave them with the money that they had promised. No, they just left. They didn't donate a freaking penny back to them. They left them hanging with a, well, we'll see you again sometime. Do they return? Yeah. They return with the same money? I guarantee you not. So, I mean, and I want to say by the time they got out there to Palestine, the ice wasn't as bad. They could have done it, but it doesn't look good on TV if you're fishing high 30s, low 40-degree water. Harder to catch fish. They want that TV product. They want to see them big ones on TV. Me, I don't like the product anymore. I'll sit and I'll watch Money Bass's On the Wire Challenge. If you guys haven't, I know several of y'all here are well familiar with Mr. Money and know his product. His On the Wire challenges are fantastic. And I say that not just because I have the pleasure of commentating over there, but he does a bang up job. All the guys he fishes with over there are class acts. It's a lot more fun to watch. It's honest, it's real. There you go. Anyway, there's my rant on collegiate fishing. Some of the piss have been taken out of it because it's been a rough day. We've got storms moving in here any minute. Already had some severe thunderstorm warnings around the area. So hopefully we're not going to get zapped here. But I appreciate each and every one of y'all for showing up. Sorry about the technical difficulties and trying to get on. I'm late as usual. But hey, if y'all have any ideas as to what y'all do, what changes y'all would make in high school and collegiate fishing, send me an email at cerebraltacklefishing@gmail.com. Let me know. Let me hear from you. Oleg says, we just had a storm here 2 days ago. Wow. Dude, let me tell you, man, weather's been crazy. Weather's been absolute. I know the East Coast out there is getting their butts handed to them. Been nuts. I've fished in some crazy weather. I know you guys probably have too. Anybody been tournament fishing long enough has fished in some wild ass weather. I mean, I fished one of my worst times. The wind was blowing about 25 miles an hour. We had 2 inches of rain just during tournament hours, and it didn't get above like 48 degrees that day. It was like the high. And in pouring torrential downpour and high wind, I was literally starting to feel hypothermic. I was in the boat with the guy I've talked about on the show before, Bob. And we're up underneath, or up, not underneath anything, unfortunately, getting poured on. Fishing this one point, both of our heads are down. We're freezing cold, shivering in our rain gear. At this point, the rain gear is given up and tapped out. We're soaked. And he hollers at me and says, well, and this is after a long stretch of complete silence. Well, I think it's starting to get cold out here. Starting to. I couldn't feel my gonads 6 hours earlier. Starting to. I like to laugh out of the boat. It was so funny and so just low-key, deadpan funny. I like to have fallen in the water. It was hilarious. Thank you guys. Thank you, Eat Squawk. Yep. Appreciate y'all hitting the like button. I know it's just been kind of an off little rant. I'm going to try to keep the piss and vinegar in me for the next one. I'm not going to do it on game day. Ugly. Anyway, appreciate each and every one of you guys showing up. Thank you. We slap. Oleg. Thank you, Oleg. And thank you so much, Money Bass, for the mic and the super chat. You're a good man. I'll I'll find another topic to be pissed at, and you'll see in episode 2. So I'm going to get out of here for the storm zaps my ass. Appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, get out there on the water. Keep it wet.